Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic. What is your most controversial take on Star Wars? Not sure if controversial, but they need to take the franchise and you eat it 200 years in the future. I'm tired of the Empire era where they need to justify why more than 2 Jedi and 2 Sith exist at one moment alongside knowing everything is pointless until Luke leaves the farm. Not sure if it is controversial or not either, but I 100% agree. Not only do they need to move away from the characters, but they also need to move past the Empire versus Rebels as the overarching story. You can do so many cool things outside of the Skywalkers and politics. Instructions unclear. 7th Death Star constructed. Alternatively, I'd like a film about when the Republic was at its height. 1,000 generations is 25,000 years and we've had 9 movies about the last 60. And there is one man who can foresee the fall of the Empire. He toils away in obscurity on Coruscant until his psycho-historical theories become too much for the Galactic Federation to bear. He is exiled to Terminus along with 100,000 of his followers. Here they set up a new foundation to save the galaxy from the fall of the Empire. Or maybe that's been done before it. The entire universe has a cool factor that outweighs the atrocious storytelling. Edit, my bad y'all, I've just never heard anyone else say this. I didn't realize this was like common knowledge in the Star Wars community lol. I've always been berated by eggbeards for not loving Star Wars in its entirety. Bro, imagine the following movies, but if they were in Star Wars universe. Magnificent 7, a Jedi, bounty hunter, ex-Imperial, pilot, Wookiee, a droid, and lawman team up to defend a town against pirates. Dread 2, Jedi climb up an apartment block to confront a new dark side user who has mental control of the entire apartment block. Supernatural, TV show, a Jedi and their apprentice go around and solve and defeat dark side force spots. Where the force consolidates from emotions and creates foul creatures to fight. Top Gun, but it's Wedge or something. Ford vs Ferrari, but it's podracing or swoop racing. Or just, HBO does Kota 1 and Kota 2 for me and I'll be happy. You can tell virtually any story in the Southwestern universe, that's what's so great about it. I've said it a million times, fans don't care about the story. They just wanna see Star Wars stuff happen. But it would be nice if the writers cared at least about telling a fun story. The Death Stars weren't badly designed, they were just badly managed. Yes. Designing them assuming large-scale assaults was stupid given the political state of the galaxy, but the second Death Star wasn't even finished, so that doesn't count. It's all Palpatine's fault. As for the first one that was finished, the Alliance made 3 runs on the exhaust port. The first was called off before they made it to the trench, the second failed and the third was carried out by Space Jesus, which isn't exactly fair. All in all, it sounds like a fairly effective defense when you consider the design philosophy. Edit, response to some points people made. Some people pointed out Gale Erso's sabotage. This is again a management problem, as if you let a saboteur on your team and he changes the design, that's on you, not the design. Other people said it was ridiculous, one shot took out the whole base. First of all, see again the sabotage point. But also, single points of failure are more common than you'd think. Aircraft, for example, have loads. You can't always engineer them out, so what you have to do is make it so there's no one decision that can cause it to fail. Didn't the guy from Denmark, Demarkia, intentionally build the Death Star to have flaws because he was forced to do it? Then Darth Vader had that badass hallway scene. I think that was in Rogue One, but I don't know a lot about Star Wars, so I may be misremembering it. The robot in that movie was very funny though. A guy from Denmark is a Danish guy. Lasers lock doors. Lasers open doors. Lasers know what you want the door to do. Lasers just change the state of the door, it's that simple. What if the door is halfway ajar? I judge most of my opinion of a Star Wars movie by the quality of its lightsaber fights. I'm not a fan of the Phantom Menace, but by God were people impressed with the Darth Maul fight at the end. A double fucking blade lightsaber. Everyone forgets that non-superfans, myself included, had no idea a double-bladed lightsaber was even a thing. When that second blade pops out in the first trailer, I lost my damn mind. Boba Fett is an oddly overrated background character, and even after watching the Book of Boba Fett, I don't really care about him. He was never a character. He was a cool helmet. Dude, he was so much more than just a helmet. He was a cool jetpack too. Star Wars is actually the life story of C-3PO, think about it. I disagree. I think it's R2's story. He had a much greater presence in Episode 1 and 2 and 3, and got the same amount of screen time as C3 in 456. Foulest mouth in the galaxy. They had to censor every word of his. I believe this. Vader got a hold of him when he got dismantled on Cloud City. You can't tell me that he didn't do anything shady to his old personal tinker box that he messed around with when he was a kid, then sent him back into the rebel fold. Didn't Orgar send the droids for memory wipes at the end of Epi 3 to kind of patch over the big-ass plot hole of those two droids knowing Archie and the whole Clone Wars debacle? And even doing that would be sending an iPhone back to an Apple factory to get refurbishment. So all standard stuff being placed back into 3PO. But, to your point, 3PO was Archie's baby's first droid, so he'd know what's under the hood and could make him into a tracker/listener/ultra thermal detonator. But alas, couldn't do that because movies had already been made. Han is actually older than Obi-Wan due to time dilation. Time dilation in a universe where every planet and moon has same gravity and atmosphere. And just one biome. The universe works better as a gunslinger space western than a space wizard fantasy. Mostly if you're going to begin and end every story on Tatooine. Or because western also lends itself pretty well to Noi, which opens up the universe for all the hive cities, industrial planets, and undercities. You can be a gunslinger just as well in Coruscant as you can in Tatooine. It's just the scenery and maybe the weapons that change. But Lone Wolf flies into port, looking for work is the bread and butter of Star Wars stories. Star Wars was never good from a movie criticism standpoint. It's not meant to be super in-depth, and it relies on cool visuals and action, which is completely okay. Like Harrison Ford said, it's not that kind of movie, and it shouldn't have to be. When I watched Star Wars, A New Hope, I thought the acting was pretty bad and the writing wasn't great. It's the action and special effects that saved the movie. The next two were much better acted. To be fair, none of the actors were seasoned at that point. Carrie and Harrison had done one film each and a bunch of small TV spots. It was Mark's first film. Alec Guinness and Peter Cushing were the most seasoned actors, and I know the former hated being there. Plus I think that Lucas is really bad at getting good performances out of his actors. The best acting was always in the two that he didn't direct, Empire and Jedi. I believe Harrison Ford said on set, "George, you can write this shit, but you can't say it." The context of when the film came out also matters. Alec Guinness commented that one of the reasons he signed on to the film was that it's such an innocent, fresh zero-to-hero story at a time when films were becoming a lot darker, grittier, and more realistic. Yeah, the action and special effects were great for 1977, but there's also just a whole lot of heart and familiarity in the story. I think that's why the OT still stands the test of time even as the effects show their age. The characters are fun and engaging, they're easy to like and easy to root for. You want Luke to succeed, you want Han and Leia to get together in the end, you want the rebellion to win. Jaws make me feel tingly inside. UTI. I hear they're very fuzzy. Return of the Jedi is my favorite Southwestern film. Whenever someone says the word Star Wars, my mind immediately goes to any particular scene in that movie. People say the movie is disjointed, but every scene is memorable at the very least. I always think Luke in the iconic black outfit with the green lightsaber. That whole act oozes badassery. Show up in a hood like a Jedi but dressed in black like you got some dark side too, force choke a couple guards, try to deal with Jabba, kill a Rancor, make Jabba an offer he can't refuse, and just as he's about to kill you, we immediately realize this was all to plan just a second before finally getting the fucking Jedi shit we've been waiting 3 movies to see. Fun fact, the saber was supposed to be the same color as original, but was changed to green in post because it contrasted with the sky better. Looks hella badass in the throne room duel anyway. The "you're wrong, I am a Jedi, like my father before me" is my favorite part of any film. I wish I could upvote this a dozen times. The whole Death Star throne room sequence is fantastic. The Emperor taunting Luke, then the great fight with Vader, ending in Luke finally giving in and unleashing his rage. Then right at the edge of the cliff, the steps back and denies the Emperor his victory. Twice even, as his words and self-sacrifice remind Vader of what he used to be and give him the strength to defy his master. It's an amazing line in an amazing scene, and that alone makes Return of the Jedi my favorite Star Wars movie. What, you mean unstable, easily fooled, traitor, murderer of children, that dude? Palpatine, probably. Fans ruined the whole franchise. That's pretty much every franchise. Yay, but especially this one. For purely story purposes, Han Solo should have died at the end of Empire. Harrison Ford had a stipulation in his contract for 7 and Han would die. That's because Lucas promised to kill him in 6 but he didn't.